Madam Deputy Speaker, there's a reason the Government are considering bypassing local authorities entirely and removing the need for planning permission with fracking. It is because fracking has little or no support within our communities. Ministers have, I'm afraid, been hypnotised by the success story in the United States without considering the critical difference between the US and the UK, and that is that the US has vast tracts of low-density land which it can exploit. For fracking to be a viable part of our energy mix in the UK, two things are necessary: tracts of land with low population and broad-based community support, but we have neither. The Bowland Shale gas field, by far the most sizeable in the UK, is where the viability of fracking will live or die. It covers land from Lancaster in the north, Sheffield in the south and Whitby in the north-east. One well, just one, has been introduced in this basin in teeth of opposition, and even that has lain dormant for many months due to tremors. And it covers almost all of the major metropolitan centres of the north of England: Liverpool, Manchester, Preston, and on the right side of the Pennines, Derby, Sheffield, York and North Leeds. It is an absurdity that the Government think a fracking basin that covers a population running into the many millions is viable. And rather than recognise these inherent flaws caused by trying to impose an industry with a dubious environmental record on a highly populated sweep of land, the Government instead are trying to override the local population entirely. If communities cannot exercise their democratic right to oppose fracking through the planning system, then how can this Government maintain the presence of localism? There is no broad consent for fracking in the way that there often is for other users of the National Infrastructure Projects regime.
Will my honourable friend actually acknowledge that it was the elected members on Lancashire County Council who voted not to have fracking at Preston New Road, and it's the government who turned their back on those people, my constituents? So all these nods to localism, actually what the government is saying is localism and local opinion is well and truly buried.
Right. There can be no pretence to localism when the Government is riding roughshod over the voices and rights of local authorities and local people, not least because of the documented seismicity risks. Since just October last year, the Preston New Road operation has triggered 3 red-level tremors and 57 earthquakes, not to mention the risk to aquifers. Denying the local community a meaningful say is utterly anti-democratic and perverse. It is not too late for the Government to rethink their approach and recognise that the obstacles they are finding in their way should not just be bulldozed through inappropriate legislation, and that at a fundamental level the prospects for an advanced shale gas industry in the UK are completely and utterly flawed.
Hear, hear.